Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 13 of our F125 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Belgian Grand Prix, of course, at the iconic Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Of course, if you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Silverstone, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. Our home Grand Prix admittedly was very good fun. We saw Lewis Hamilton take his 10th race victory around the venue. Yes, that sounds as ridiculous to me as it does to you guys as well there. But Hamilton once again able to deliver in front of the home crowd. Sadly, our performance, the pace just in the car wasn't quite there, annoyingly, but we did better than Dennis Hauger, who sadly suffered yet another mechanical failure, his second, I believe, of the season. I'm still slightly scared about when my first mechanical is going to be inside F125, but desperately trying to fill up my calendar with a few more tasks before we head into the weekend. Of course, got to remember, there's a lot more kind of micromanagement, it feels like, inside F125 now. So yeah, got to be careful and obviously get all of those in the works. If we take a look at the World Championship standings, you can see Lando Norris 39 still clear of Max Verstappen at the top of the table. Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, both steadily closing in on the top two as well recently. We are still in P9, 3 points back from Kimi Antonelli. The team is still 5th right now, 1 point ahead of Williams as well, so hoping we can try and keep the momentum going. Lando Norris hasn't won a race since Miami. Since then, I mean, Lewis Hamilton has, Charles Leclerc has, Verstappen has quite often won races since then. In fact, Verstappen recently has been on a pattern of win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Will that carry on into this weekend? Only time will tell. If we take a quick look as well, I got to remember to keep doing it. The R&D currently on the team, as you can see, we are basically tied with Sauber. We should be able to get the jump on them pretty soon. We've got a lot of upgrades going on the car. We've got a sprint weekend. Let's head into sprint quali.
High-speed straights, heady elevation changes and dramatic corners. What is there not to love about today? It's qualifying day here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Well, this weekend then, I decided to mix it up and we're actually racing as Dennis Hauger inside this game. It has nothing to do with the fact I accidentally clicked the wrong button as we went into the race weekend, and everything to do with the idea that I fancied seeing what life was like on the other side of the garage. But I thought, yeah, we'd give it a go in Dennis Hauger's car here to see how we get on.
Starting to put in good times. It's time to change your tyres over to box.
That's not good then. The team now are telling me that they reckon the full wets are going to be the way to go. They originally told me the intermediate was going to be the quickest tyre inside this session. We've only got 4 minutes left on the clock. The gearbox and I believe most of the engine components are very worn out. No idea what Hauger's been doing to his car so far this season, as that was a little bit sketchy up over the top of the hill. We have only really got time for one run though here, of course, in sprint qualifying, so it does need to be a good one. But if this first lap doesn't live up to expectations, then we don't even have enough fuel to go for a second one. So, well, our first outing is Dennis Hauger inside this game. I still definitely feel it's a bit weird that you don't get the option to kind of race as yourself inside F125. I know it's not realistic, but let's be fair, it's kind of what everybody did enjoy doing inside the games, as Callum Voisin has done a 2:03.5. Feels very, very weird to be commentating over our teammate and not talking about Dennis Hauger. He's currently 2 seconds off Nico Hülkenberg, so clearly that's what his pace is like inside this game when I'm not driving as him. Hence why I've always driven as the weaker driver so far. We go P19. I think we're out in Q1.
P19.
Well, there we go then. That's a little bit of a disappointing start to proceedings here. Max Verstappen fastest, though, ahead of both of your McLaren cars. But yeah, I mean, Callum Voisin a second and a half slower than anybody else. Normally, when Dennis Hauger's racing inside this game, he's fairly competitive with the rest of your back markers, so I don't think I've made a mistake by racing as Voisin so far this season. Otherwise, he's seemingly terrible.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Tsunoda, Russell, Charles Leclerc and Piastri. Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Ocon, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Sainz, Albon, Lance Stroll, and Behrman. Bortoletto, HAUGER, Pierre Gasly, and Liam Lawson. Doohan, Hulkenberg, Voisin, and Dennis Hauger rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out.
Well, here we are then, down on the grid, ready for the Saturday sprint here from Belgium. I must admit, the real-life sprint races here have been mediocre in the past, but any excuse to do a few more laps here, I'm always looking forward to. 8 of those ahead of us today. We line up at the back because I've taken a new gearbox. I've completely put fresh engine components in for Dennis Hauger. I hope if we go back to Callum Voisin's car next time, that he's not going to have completely wrecked all of the components as well. But we shall wait and see. 5 red lights are on though. Mighty long hole, but it is going to be lights out, and away we go, ready for the sprint race now. Nico Hulkenberg getting a little bit caught up behind Liam Lawson in towards turn 1, as we are going to find an avenue down the inside of about 8 cars there by the time we get in towards that first corner. Gabriel Bortoletto, sorry Isaac HAUGER, didn't spot him on the outside there and gave him a big old squeeze for no reason.
Keep an eye on your engine temperatures, cooling may be adversely affected.
Oh, as we are right under the gearbox of Isaac HAUGER, the HAUGER-Hauger battles seem to live on inside this game there, but side pod damage is not what we needed at the start of the Grand Prix. Oh, Jack Doohan and Pierre Gasly thought about trying to line up a move on us as well. By the time we get up towards the top of the hill, I can see, I believe that's the Williams of Alex Albon and maybe Lance Stroll there, having a bit of a battle. Oh, just up in front. HAUGER very, very early on the brakes in through the next couple of corners. They're still wheel to wheel just up in front there. So we've actually done pretty well off this start. You know, you've got to get the elbows out early on here. And happy with the progress we've made. Verstappen absolutely walking it at the front of the order. He might have already built up the gap he needs. Oh, Bortoletto, what's going on there through the final corner? Load of Constantina and up. From the AI. Of course, they've got huge drive off of the corner, but to the inside of Bortoletto we will go then. Back down at turn 1. I mean, it seems like both Williams cars are getting in basically every scrap imaginable around this circuit, as Albon and Antonelli wheel to wheel as they make their way down in towards turn 2 there. And look at that, Andrea Kimi Antonelli round the outside on the entry of Eau Rouge. Fantastic little move by the Mercedes man, but Alex Albon not going to take that line down. Straight back down the inside by the time we get up in towards Les Combes. Will Antonelli sweep in around the outside? They're still going to be wheel to wheel, but the experienced head of Alex Albon will hang on. Oh no, here comes Gabriel Bortoletto. How has he got that straight line speed in the Sauber car? Down the inside he'll go. We'll try and keep wheel to wheel with the Brazilian through the next corner and getting the elbows out, of course. Whoa! In this race, definitely still don't have maximum downforce there, as we were lucky to hang on to the car. We'll try and keep it down the inside of Jack Doohan in through the next corner. So again going wheel to wheel there, but can't quite make that happen. Can we try and switch him on the exit? I don't think we can.
Very careful, the floor's incurred massive damage.
I mean, look at the speed the AI have got. Pierre Gasly there. Nothing we can do. As I've said, I know they're a bit OP still on the exits of corners. We're hoping that that's going to get patched up nice and quickly inside this game, but just the speed. I mean, we're not running particularly high wing angle. I feel like we're pretty competitive, actually, in a straight line around this venue, but just not able to do anything with it at the moment.
Gap to your teammate behind, 1.0 seconds.
Oh, what is Pierre braking so early? Oh, man. I mean, like I said, it's only a sprint race. It doesn't really matter for us. We're not going to score points anyway. But Hauger just has no luck in this game.
2.5 seconds.
Oh, dipped a wheel through the gravel again. Hauger's going to say thank you very much. Hulkenberg as well. I think he's going to try and follow him by. And, well, this is just so depressing. Still, though, it's Belgium. So I've got a smile on my face there. And hopefully these two are going to have a battle back down in towards turn 1. Can we have a look around the outside of Hulkenberg through the bus stop? We'll muscle our way back to the inside of the Sauber. But yeah, Voisin even, I should say, now under pressure from Liam Lawson back down in towards turn 1. Oh, we are just all over the road. Hauger's car, I don't know what it is, but it genuinely feels worse, and I can't quite explain why. I'm sure again though we are about to be a sitting duck. It's probably the damage that is making the car feel well and truly undrivable there, as I can feel the front wheels lifting up for a Rouge and Radion, but clearly my sprint race curse from F124 lives on inside F125 there. Lawson and Voisin going by, and we are down to last. Well, as Max Verstappen makes his way then in towards the final few corners of the sprint race here from Spa-Francorchamps. I mean, they've basically just thrown it back on the calendar. I see you can have a few extra points this year, haven't they? I'm so interested as we head into real qualifying as to whether the HAUGER curse is real inside this game. The Dutchman, though, will win at what is effectively one of his home Grand Prix, I guess, in Formula 1 there. But through the final few corners, annoyingly for Voisin, he kind of dropped off the back of everybody else. I think, again, this car just struggles around these high-speed, high-downforce circuits, like, you know, your Spas, like your Silverstones. So I think we're going to be in for a pretty painful rest of the weekend there. But hopefully, if we don't get any damage in the main event, we can try and have a bit of better run of things through the final corner. It is going to be last here in the sprint. Well, there we are then, taking a look at your final sprint race results. Max Verstappen just walked away with it, to be completely honest. Lewis Hamilton, though, great drive from 7th on the grid there to finish P2, ahead of Lando Norris and Yuki Tsunoda, with Leclerc, Ocon, Russell and Piastri rounding out your point scorers. Yeah, I really want to know what Hamilton did to go from 7th to 2nd there and comfortably ahead of the cars behind him as well. But we're going to have to save that for another day. For now, it is time to get into real qualifying.
High-speed straights, heady elevation changes and dramatic corners. What is there not to love about today? It's qualifying day here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Well, let's take you guys then on a trip on a hot lap here from the longest circuit on the Formula 1 calendar. We are currently P12 at the moment, but as always, I'm sure we will see a lot of times improve. There's plenty of drivers you would expect to go quicker than me that are right down towards the drop zone at the moment then. But yeah, this lap is going to be a lot more about trying to work out how much battery we can afford to use here. Second gear though through turn 1. Nice and tidy on the throttle there, gather it up nicely on the exit. Not going to use any battery as we make our way down the hill, but we'll up through a Rouge and Radion there, just carry a little bit of speed through the uphill section, and that will hopefully bring the Delta back in the right direction. Open up the DRS as you straighten out onto the Kemmel Straight. And it looks like for now we are still up inside that top 16, which is super important. 4th gear through the top of Lidcom. Leaving in 4th there, short shift up to 5th on the exit, just avoid the curbing off the other side, 3/10 up. As we make our way down into Malmedy, a little bit wide through the entry. Try and gather up the car on the exit, leave it in 5th gear, get right up, dip a wheel through the gravel as we try to find an improvement here. Down the hill, 7th gear. Again, leave it completely flat out. That time around, we kept it between the white lines. And we'll carry the momentum down in towards the Fanyas chicane. 4th gear through the 1st. Again, just a little bit wide. 4th gear through the 2nd. Cannot run wide there, otherwise, again, you're going to be met with another gravel trap. This place so rewarding when you get absolutely on the limit. I mean, look at that purple through the middle sector. Clearly, the car has got some speed through the twisty bits, but doesn't quite have the same in a straight line. Just trying to make sure that we save up as much battery as we can, ready for the final corner. You really don't get to use much overtake mode around this lap, as you'll see now starting to gain a little bit more back on the Delta, because we've got a little bit more battery in reserves. Oh, a bit of a wobble through the final corner, during the last bit on the run to the line. We go P3! Well, there we are then. Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, 4 thousandths of a second separating the two Ferraris at the front of the order, but we go quicker than both Mercedes cars here. Very, very happy with that lap time. Felt like it came a little bit out of nowhere, to be honest. But both V-carbs, both kicked Saubers, Gasly and Voisin out in Q1. Apart from that, though, 16 cars covered by a second here at Spa is ridiculous. Well, we're starting to see a lot more competitive lap times then from the rest of your field out in Q2. Well, let's just see what we can do then. Can we make it back into Q3? For I believe only the 3rd time this season. Monaco and Jeddah, I want to say. Of course, Spa, very high speed like Jeddah, but certainly not a street circuit like those other two. Although I guess this place did originally start out as, of course, a road circuit as well. The old Spa, an absolute behemoth in the world of Formula 1. Again, just trying to use a little bit of battery I'll throw a Rouge Romati on there, but with 10 seconds left on the clock, I don't even really know what time we're aiming for in this second session. The Williams car's struggling more than I would expect them to around this venue. But honestly, at the moment, I'm just enjoying getting to do hot laps at my favourite track on the Formula 1 calendar. Not when I do that, though. A little bit sketchy through the exit of Lake Com. But we actually found the apex through Malmedy that time, so happy there. I mean, this place, even in these ground effect cars, is still so much fun just to throw a car around. It's such a shame that Spa's going on to an alternating contract in the sport, because this place deserves to be driven every single year by the world's best drivers. But down in towards the final sector, thread the car through the left, thread the car through the right. This lap actually coming together maybe slightly better than our Q1 run. Didn't go purple though through sector 2, but we are a second up on Fernando Alonso right now, so clearly in the dry. This car has got some good pace. It's his final sector though that I worry that we're going to lose bags of time to the AI there, as just try and thread the car up through Blanchemont all nice and tidy. Looking for the 100-metre board down in towards the final corners there. Oh, a little bit conservative through the first part. Careful of oversteer through the second. On the run back towards the line. We go 10th. We just make it through. And look at that. I say we just make it through. We're actually comfortably through there by 0.3 of a second ahead of Lance Stroll. He, Ollie Behrman, Alonso, Jack Doohan, and the two Williams out in Q2 then. But I think now we're starting to see the AI ramping up the times. So anything better than 10th, I'll be pretty happy. Oh, no. No. Damn it, man. DRS has been disabled then just as we head out into Q3. I didn't even know rain was on the radar for qualifying. I probably didn't look at Q3 because, of course, I never expected us to get here. But we were already having to come out on a worn set of tyres. So I was not optimistic we were going to go any quicker than anybody else. But yeah, I think this Q3 lap is sadly now going to be an absolute disaster. Not going to stop me going for it though. Although, admittedly, dry tyres on a wet track now on this game are very, very scary. Nice double lock up at the fronts in towards turn 1. I mean, maybe this is good practice for the race, if nothing else. Whoa, whoa, yeah, there you go, that's over.
Wow, that was a heck of an impact. Let me know you're okay.
I can't say I hadn't thought that might happen, but I was hoping it wouldn't be the case, sir. I mean, we tried to keep it wide open on the throttle. If you listen in... Yeah, I mean, just look at that. Immediately goes round on us slightly. We tried to correct the first slide, and, well, it wasn't quite as dramatic as Lando Norris here a few years ago, but not ideal. Let's just get into the race.
Welcome to this visit to the Ardennes countryside. Spa-Francorchamps hosted its first Grand Prix back in 1925, and this historic track is loved by drivers and fans alike. And us here in the commentary box too. So it's a warm welcome from the Belgian Grand Prix. Spa-Francorchamps today, a circuit that spans 4.35 miles. There are tons of elevation changes along the way too. 19 corners making up this circuit, with 9 of those to the right and the remaining 10 to the left. This track's a great one for fans of pure speed, and the average lap speed comes close to a whopping 145 miles per hour. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Yuki Tsunoda completes the front row. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Ocon, Norris, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Russell, Leclerc, Piastri, Antonelli, and Dennis Hauger, Stroll, Behrman, Fernando Alonso, Doohan, Sainz, Albon, Callum Voisin, and Pierre Gasly, Lawson, Hülkenberg, HAUGER, and Gabriel Bortoleto rounds off the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Well, it would be nice if we could get Dennis Hauger his first points of the season, but we'll have to wait and see as to how we get on today, because, of course, yeah, that rain later on might really spring up a surprise. I do not want to be starting on the hard compounded tyre, though, but apparently I'm going to have to. Why won't it let me start on mediums, game? Come on, I want to start on something else. Please don't say this is a glitch. And that is back once again. I can't remove that stint. I got to try and make that stint longer and that stint longer. And maybe that one longer, and then maybe it'll let me do it. Now can I still can't remove it. I'm forced. I can either start this race on softs or hards, apparently, and I can't even do that. Can I remove the stint and then go like that? Oh, this is so stupid. We're starting on hards, apparently. EA, please, if you're watching, fix that, because it's such an annoying bug. Just let us kind of build our own setups from the ground up. Maybe it could be a lifeline for us today. We'll have to wait and see. But lining up them from P10 here for the Belgian Grand Prix. We've got to make sure we stay out of trouble this time round on the run into T1. But it is going to be lights out, and away we go there. Wheels spinning quite a lot in towards that first corner. Lance Stroll trying to muscle his way in. Oh, there is a little bit of contact just in front of me. We are going to try and go for a very wide line. Or through turn one there. I think we're 2 wide. No, I thought we might have been 3 wide for a second. We'll try and give Lance a bit of a squeeze down the hill, but he won't back out of it. Canadian there trying to go wheel to wheel up through a Rouge and Radeon. But we will hold firm round the outside. And hang on then to our 10th place starting position. You can see lots of battles going on just up in front. There's already, I can notice how much better the straight line speed is. Aston Martin sandwich though. So Stroll just covers me off Alonso. Trying to go the long way around the pair of us. Surely can't make that one work. No, he'll back out. And maybe rather wisely there. His teammate not known for his great Formula 1 awareness. As I was not actually planning on trying to have a look down the inside of Alonso there. Again, the AI just broke a little bit earlier than I was expecting. But Red Bull, pretty certain they bagged their first 1-2 starting position of the year, their first front row lockout. They've been able to hold on to it on this opening lap there. Is a little bit wide down through Pouon then. But yeah, one of the Ferraris going in hot pursuit. Esteban Ocon having a brilliant weekend as well so far here. I just want to see Behrman score points for the first time. That's what I want to see by the end of the year. Here we go, Alonso having a look down the inside of Lance Stroll at the final corner then. Could we see a bit of a swap for position between the two Aston Martins? Almost able to get the run on Sir Lance as well, but it looks like Alonso then, of course my teammate in the driver career, will say thank you very much, and I will try and follow him by in towards turn 1, back up into P11 then, and I don't want to sit behind the Canadian for another race. We did that back at Silverstone as the tyres fell off right towards the end of the afternoon. See Alonso there trying to make more progress all over the back of Oscar Piastri, who's had a pretty quiet start to the year for McLaren. I say that, we're over halfway through this first campaign. But looks like Behrman's made the move on Lance as well. So the Canadian is just starting to go backwards. Oh, Alonso, the AI is so slow through some of the slow speed corners here. And can we try and get a run then on the Aston Martin as we make our way down the hill? I talk about the AI trying to go for moves through a Rouge and Radeon. Well, second time in 4 laps we've gone wheel to wheel with an Aston Martin through there. But around the outside we will go then and back up into the points. But Alonso, he won't take that line down. Of course, our teammate in the other series, we got bitter rivals in this one. Will he be able to hang on around the outside there? Oh, he wanted to turn in, but I will not give him the time of day to make that one work again. Antonelli and Leclerc going wheel to wheel just in front. That curbing, it's horrible, but I do quite kind of like it. Definitely better than the old curb there. You know, you really can risk it, but not kind of abuse it in F1 25. Oh, Charles Leclerc as well. How on earth that's the greatest accidental overtake I'll ever make on an F1 game? Leclerc locked up. Oscar Piastri and Kimi Antonelli had to avoid him, and well, as they were going slow to avoid Charles Leclerc there, we'd completely fired it into that bus stop chicane and accidentally kind of got the car slowed down around the outside there. So that's one way of doing a double overtake on F1 25. Can we get a run the one Leclerc and try and make it 3 overtakes in the space of half a lap? We're going to drain the battery. 250 miles an hour up the Kemmel straight to the inside. Oh, Leclerc thought about trying to swing defensive at the last moment. We would take a bit of a hop over the curbing and the gravel, but we are up to 7th in this race. Clearly the car does have pace here, just not with huge side pod damage. There we go, Esteban Ocon. I noticed this lap he was absolutely falling apart in terms of pace here, so that's quite interesting Oh, Verstappen in, okay. Didn't know what tyres the Red Bulls were on, but clearly they've kept a set of mediums for the start of this race. Annoyed still that I couldn't use mine, but Hamilton is flying behind us as well. Verstappen's also gone on to soft, so he's going to be very quick. And I'm sure now we'll basically be hoping the rain starts to fall pretty soon. So look at those clouds though above the circuit, they are whizzing along. Ooh, Norris is in. Lando Norris into the pits then in this Grand Prix. So for the moment, we are going to take the lead here. Something I don't believe we've done since Monaco. We're going to lose it very quickly. Max Verstappen breathing out my neck there. There's Kimi Antonelli also into the pit lane. But yeah, I think we're very, very likely to just dive in at the end of this lap. I mean, look at the speed Verstappen's got. That is ridiculous in his Red Bull. I'll get the elbows out though. Won't let him get around us there. Come on, give me some updates.
I don't currently have the data for that request.
Why? Is Spa so difficult to get a weather report for? I've got no idea. But Verstappen then moving his way through. And I'm sure he is about to just drive off into the sunset. Oh, the dirty air is awful, and I love it. Oh, we've got yellows, we've got yellows. Someone's breaking down a little bit further back. I think that might be a McLaren. Oh, no, it's a Mercedes. It's Kimi Antonelli that is out of the Grand Prix. Well, a safety car now would have been absolutely beautiful for us, but that's not going to happen, unfortunately. Gutted for Kimi there, who's having a really good race out this weekend. But we're going to take the chance then to dive into the pit lane anyway. Going on to a fresh set of the mediums here. They won't make it to the end of the race, but they should be able to go a decent distance through these next few laps then, as, I mean, yeah, we've already 2 seconds behind Verstappen. The pace of that Red Bull with the Dutchman behind the wheel is just relentless around this circuit, and for the first time in 3 Grand Prix.
Safety car, no overtaking, reduce your pace. Keep your delta number positive as we form up.
I can't. Oh, one of the McLarens has broken down. I think that must be Oscar Piastri then that's retiring from this Grand Prix, but that safety car could not come out at a better time for us. A little bit gutted, didn't pick a set of soft tyres instead.
On the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
And there we go then, effectively a free pit stop in this Grand Prix, and we are up to 6th. Oh, everybody's pitting. Everybody else is down taking the chance to pit. Esteban Ocon! Esteban Ocon is going to be leading this race.
Which means you're going too fast. Reduce your pace.
Well, of course, if you guys have been keeping up with the driver career mode over on Map 2 and 2 gameplay, you'll remember Esteban Ocon has actually won a race. He won in Shanghai in similar kind of fashion to this, but we're up to P2 then now, and we are on much fresher tyres than the guy in P1. Well, safety car coming to an end then with less than 10 laps to go, but we have still got the threat of rain looming over the circuit here in the Ardennes. But my goal now is to try and get past Ocon as soon as we can. The Frenchman controlling the pace. Let's not forget, of course, Haas have never won a race in Formula 1 outside of all the wins I got from on last year's game. And, of course, that one win that Ocon's had as well over in the other career mode. If you exclude those, Haas have never, ever won a Formula 1 GP. They certainly haven't won one IRL. Oh, I've got to get some tempo into the tyres. I need to get past Esteban up the Camel Straight here, but wait and see. Oh, I know what's the problem. Oh, I've set medium tyres. I don't care. I've got no battery on. We need the hot lap mode on now, as we will try and go into the overtake mode as well. Try and just get it back in the right setting. There we go. I think we're good, but annoyingly, that has cost us an opportunity. It might actually leave us vulnerable to Charles Leclerc into the next corner. Luckily, we'll cover him off that time round, but Esteban, his tyres aren't new. As you can clearly see, he's struggling a little bit on them. But he does just about have enough grip. Maybe not. As soon as I say that, we will launch one to the outside, down through Malmedy. Can we get to the inside for the next corner? Yes, we can. And a decisive move. And Dennis HAUGER to the lead of the GP. Oh, here we go. It was a valiant effort. We've got a few laps led under our belt, but Charles Leclerc is going to deny some opportunity now. Flying past me down the Kemmel Straight. What on earth is going on with the order behind us? Ocon's still in P3, but it is Stroll, Behrman and Liam Lawson that are fighting a little bit further back. So basically every front runner that isn't Charles Leclerc has been shuffled back down the pack right now. Lando Norris has just come back through the pit lane again, so not too sure what's happened to him. But Charles Leclerc's surely got to pit again soon. His tyres are pretty wrecked.
We're expecting some rain soon. Expect the first drops in the next few minutes.
Yeah, there you go. I can already feel it on the circuit. The track is getting worse and worse for grip. But when is that? Basically, when the rain starts falling, that's our cue to pit. Oh, there you go. Team have said it. I'm going to dive in. I think we're going to see raindrops pretty soon in this GP. We nailed our first pit stop in this race. I'm hoping we can nail the second. I mean, it seems ridiculous, doesn't it? Diving into the pit lane when you can't even see any rain, but Ocon and Stroll have come in behind us. But are they making the call to inters? I couldn't quite see what tyres the Haas team were putting on that car. But onto the intermediates we will go then. No, come on. Oh, they are going inters.
Put that behind us though and finish the race strong. Pit strategy
We can see
complete.
a little bit of spray being kicked up as well then. We've still come out in P4 in this race. As the rain has now started, I think we've nailed that again in this GP. But let's just see whether we take any time out of Yuki Tsunoda. Oh, wide open on the throttle through a Rouge. The gap is about 2.5 seconds. Let's see if that comes down.
Okay,
There we go,
DRS
DRS disabled. We've definitely made the right call.
DRS is now disabled.
And if we can possibly get an undercut on Leclerc, then I'll be very, very happy. Of course, we've already dealt with having to get the tyres up to temperature, so Charles will struggle with that. But of course, we did end up with a slow pit stop as well. Tsunoda, he's having to stay out another one because Verstappen's pitting. Surely that's not worth the time loss. As Yuki Tsunoda then, I'm sure will reclaim the lead of this Grand Prix from Charles Leclerc. But it's going to be a pretty futile exercise for him, as you can just see through turn 1. There goes Leclerc out still in the lead of the Grand Prix.
Just completed a pass for the lead of the race.
Oh, we need to try and get past Yuki now, but that Red Bull still has got fantastic straight line speed. What on earth is Yuki Tsunoda doing round the outside? We bang wheels with the Red Bull man, and fair play to him. Oh, that was a little bit scary, but clearly Yuki Tsunoda, yeah, does not want to give way to anybody in this GP, as Charles Leclerc, I think he's probably done enough to win it. Ferrari's bad strategy call might have actually saved him today, but around the outside now as Tsunoda, we will drift around him. There's not a chance we can make up 3 seconds on Leclerc by the end, surely. Well, on to the last lap then.
Teammate by 43.0 seconds.
Voicing, yeah, has not had a fun afternoon of it today, but hopefully we are less than a lap away from Dennis Hauger's first ever Formula 1 points. Gutted that it's not going to be a win here in the Ardennes, but, you know, Charles Leclerc has been rapid in that Ferrari car over the final few laps of this race, and, you know, you can't really knock him, the performance he's had today. You know, Ferrari, I mean, every team, the strategy has been all up in the air. It's exactly the kind of thing you want to see here in Belgium. Esteban Ocon as well is actually closing back in on me at a rather rapid rate of knots. So we have really struggled towards the end of this GP, but I think this is going to be, what, Ferrari's 3rd win in about 4 or 5 Grand Prix. So they are really starting to string together a potential championship threat. Definitely in the Constructors after another weekend where McLaren have struggled. I'll be honest, I'm gutted for Yuki Tsunoda. He had a brilliant qualifying effort, joining Verstappen on the front row. The Red Bull car looks honestly all-conquering this weekend, and I don't even think he's going to get a point to walk away with for his troubles here today. But as we make our way in towards the final few corners, I do not want to lose a spot to Esteban Ocon towards the end, but he is flying along that gap now, down to just 1.5 seconds. For Charles Leclerc, though, I mean, for everybody, it has been a very, very mixed-up race here today. And once again, the 3rd race in a row where we've seen rain arrive before the end of the GP. And once again, it's given us quite a spicy finish here in Belgium. Through the bus stop chicane, though, Charles Leclerc back on top yet again for the 2nd time this season. What a fantastic effort by him and Ferrari. They kept calm, and they will be rewarded. But for us, it is going to be Hauger's 1st ever podium, and the team's 2nd of the year.
Charles Leclerc, what a drive, what a victory, he wins!
They had to be decisive with their overtaking today as they worked their way through the field, and those kind of race victories are so enjoyable because it's not just like winning from the front, they really had to work for it today.
Only 3 can take to the podium, and here they come. And who gets to take the top step of the podium? Yes, it is I, Leclerc, Charles Leclerc on top.
Well, there we are then. Charles Leclerc with the race victory today. A fantastic drive by the Monegasque man. But from last in the sprint to P2 in the Grand Prix, I don't think we can complain all too much. Esteban Ocon will get a podium for Haas ahead of Stroll, Hamilton, and Behrman finally gets his first points of the year as well. So I guess that's 2 drivers this weekend getting their first score on the board. Liam Lawson, Verstappen, Russell and Piastri will round out your top 10, so championship leader Lando Norris failing to even pick up a single point today, with just Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli and Nico Hülkenberg who failed to see the checkered flag. 4 stop strategies coming in is absolutely wild around this venue. Let's take a look at the championship standings. It's Leclerc now up to P2 ahead of Verstappen, 28 points back from Lando Norris. Could we genuinely see a late championship surge by Ferrari? I could expect it to happen before the end of the campaign. Callum Voisin is now behind Esteban Ocon in the World Championship, so is Kimi Antonelli there. The Haas man up to P8. Voisin down to 10th. HAUGER up to P14, so at least we know he's scored points now this season. And it just leaves Isaac HAUGER and Gabriel Bortoleto, who are yet to score a point so far this season. Constructors-wise, Ferrari now 4 points ahead of McLaren. I didn't realise it was that close coming into this weekend as well, so Ferrari could genuinely be in a shot for both championships this year. Haas leapfrog back up to 6th, just 4 points behind ourselves, as Aston Martin and Williams still breathing down our neck in towards the second half of the campaign. Thank you all so much for watching though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon ready for the Hungarian Grand Prix.